What is up, RotoGrinders? Happy Monday. Happy Movie Monday. We'll get into that in a second. An hour and 40 minutes nonstop MLB DFS conversation starting right now. Taking you all the way up the lock, all the way up the first pitch. I believe it's 7:10. 7:10 is first pitch. Crunch time coming in about an hour or so. Chief meteorologist Kevin Roth. Go ahead and drop his weather report. Really nothing to speak of, but I'll drop it in chat just in case. He was talking about at least good hitting weather out there in Sacramento for the Athletics. Green in Sacramento for the Athletics in Minnesota. Green for the White Sox and Detroit as well. Chop, happy Monday. Happy Movie Monday. It's a good filibuster day, man. We have a 6-gamer. Pretty straightforward as far as the pitchers. We'll talk about it. Got some players returning. Some making their debut for the season. Parker Meadows is back for Detroit. First game of the season. Off the 60-day IL. Right in the 1-hole. Right in the 1-hole. Getting that at bat. First at bat out of the way for the season. No Torkelson for Detroit today. Blade is probably back today for the Athletics, I think. He's at least going to be with the team. They're saying he's no longer in AAA. Not sure about bets. We have a kind of a split slate, right? 3 games early, 3 games late. We have all the lineups early. The late games are, 9:45 and beyond. Betts has missed several games with, I think, a toe. I think he's got a toe. I'm not sure if he's going to play just yet. Paul Blackburn makes his season debut for the Mets tonight. But yeah, how are things, Chop? How was the weekend? Everything all good in your world?
Yeah, can't complain, Dean. I can't complain.
But will you?
Let me see. No, I mean, I don't know. It was a weekend. It was really uneventful. Like without football, it just really drags on Saturdays and Sundays. So that's tough. And then plus now we don't have any real basketball. The games are so few and far between that doesn't, at least, for a while there, you can occupy your Saturdays and Sundays with some playoff basketball. That's not happening.
Hockey as well has been settled.
Yeah, hockey's cooked until next year. Like it's just, yeah, it's really, honestly, I hate to say it, it is the doldrums in sports wise at this time of year. I love me some baseball, but it doesn't cut the mustard on the weekend. So it's a little bit boring, uneventful weekend, but we're getting, doing some stuff here and getting ready for a good summer, hopefully. And movie Monday, little action tonight. I like when we come back on Mondays to a nice little MLB. MLB's fun during the week to me. Just the weekends, just not so much. But I don't know, Dean. It's that time of year where I start to make a list of things to do around the house to kill the boredom. Like little things here and there.
What's on the list?
Before this week is through, I'd like to make a little walkway, a little pathway from my back door to. We got a little barbecue pit set up like in the corner of the yard. I just want to make a little walkway back there. So today they went out and got some rocks for me, some stones. I shouldn't say little rocks, some stones.
Okay.
And I'll be doing that this week. And power washing. I did some power washing this weekend, so that's always fun. I like that. I enjoy that, man. So you
got your personal. I gotta get a power washing guy.
No, I got my own.
You're worth investing in buying your own because I don't know.
It's fun too.
You start making your money back.
It's fun too, man. It's fun once you get it set up and you get rocking and rolling and you see the progress. I enjoy it. So definitely have my own power washer.
All right.
I also have my own steam cleaner. I love steam cleaning the floors.
Really?
I'm a like what do they call those? Don't like the germs at all. So people, I guess that's it. Like real OCD kind of thing, So I found over the years, I really kind of get, I don't want to say grossed out. But I really find like the Asian culture where they take their shoes off at the door. It's so respectful and so nice, so good. And we don't do that in America. So when I have a bunch of, when people come over or even when the people in this house are like trudging through the house in their shoes that they've been out in all day, I find it, so I like to do a little steam cleaning on the floors every once in a while.
You got one of those Roombas?
No, I don't. Roomba's more like I don't need a vacuum. I need like the actual sanitization.
It's funny. I was just thinking of TJ because Remember Pepsi? Pepsi used to work here, Canadian guy. We're buddies, and I went to visit him up there in Canada, and he made a point to say, take your shoes off. He's like, I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, just as a heads up, in America, that's not standard. You get it every once in a while. People request, take your shoes off before you come in the house. But like you said, not standard. I guess in Canada it is standard because TJ, at least the small sample size, producer TJ saying it's so weird that Americans don't think it's necessarily assumed to take your shoes off when entering a house. But and I have no issue doing it. I was fine doing it. TJ, you're on mute.
Sorry, I sound weird, everyone. I'm not in my usual space. I'll get there before the end of the show, but no childcare at the moment, so I'm hanging upstairs. But I learned about that on television, realizing that people have their shoes on all the time, and yeah, it's if somebody's having a party,
sure,
it's half outdoor, half indoor, then people will wear shoes inside sometimes, but that's the only situation it ever happens.
Yeah, a better anecdote for Television Tuesday, maybe. We could have saved that for tomorrow, but it is a Movie Monday, which means we should go ahead and drop that first clue for the people. I see Chop is excited. The first clue, it's a fun clue. It's one of my favorite clues, I got to be honest. The first clue, Chop, you ready for it? Simon and Garfunkel is the first clue. Simon and Garfunkel, really? That's the first clue. If you don't know how this works, get the Discord channel, RotoGrinders.com/Discord, the live stream chat channel. Tell me what movie I'm talking about. We'll get 5 individual clues dropping. Be the first one to guess correctly. You get yourself a week free of RotoGrinders Premium. Just guess once per clue drop. There's no MMEing. Again, be the first person. If you guess in YouTube, we saw, I don't know if our guy Butto is lurking in YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Our guy Butto banked last week in 2, but just getting in practice because was not answering in the appropriate spot. Cannot follow directions. But that's fine. Feel free to answer in the YouTube as well. Join the conversation. But only official guesses in the Discord channel. Yeah, Chop, it's a 6-gamer. There's 3 good pitchers. Pretty straightforward. It is not Forrest Gump. But that's a good guess, though. Simon and Garfunkel, I'm pretty sure it's on that soundtrack. And it's also Chop knows what we're doing later on for tiers. And it's got sometimes I tie the tiers in with the movie, but that is not the correct guess, but is a good effort. 6-gamer today, Chop. Have half the lineups. Again, it's sort of a split slate as far as when lineups are going to be coming in, when games are going to be played. We don't have any amazing offenses and amazing spots. We don't have incredible weather. The best weather is in Sacramento for the Athletics, but they are taking on one of the best pitchers in Joe Ryan. We want to pick on somebody like Logan Webb? Probably not. Certainly not in San Fran. I guess you can because the slate is small enough. The Mets are good, but they're out there in LA taking on Dustin May, one of the better pitchers, probably the 4th best pitcher. If we're going to power rank, we'll do that in a second, I suppose, as far as the best pitchers on the board. Dodgers are expensive. We may lose Betts. Not sure if he's going to play or not. He's not played in several games with that toe. I'm curious to get your screenshot, and then we can talk about pitchers. And I know Dave laid this out as far as the article today. Pretty clear. There's 3 good pitchers. Probably the weakest of the 3, though, is in the best possible spot. It is also the cheapest. So let's have that conversation. How you feeling about the slate? Give me the overview, and feel free to lead into pitchers.
Not in love with the pitching. I think there's very limited options, and it's the opposite of the hitting. For a small slate, I find a lot of hitters that I can get behind today and roster. So I think that small slate stuff, it's going to be very interesting tonight, and as always, going to be decided by minuscule factors. But just looking at the pitching, I didn't get a chance yet to read Cheese's article, but I would imagine one of his favorites is certainly my favorite pitcher. That's Logan Webb. That's one of my favorites. That's my favorite pitcher tonight, bar none, no doubt about it. San Diego's pretty solid offense, but I think they've underachieved for the most part this year. And now you're getting them in I guess it's debatable, but I would say probably the best pitchers environment in Major League Baseball out in San Francisco. And Webb does not give up any fly balls. Home runs shouldn't hurt him. Like I mentioned in the survey, you have to string together a whole bunch of hits in a row on him in an inning. Yeah. to get to him. So, like, I think he's in a pretty good spot here. So,
yeah, I don't disagree. If you want to order any of the top three in any particular order, I'm not going to argue with you. I think I have Flaherty number one just because he's the cheapest. Taking on a White Sox team that we know is pretty inept. They don't strike out as much as you want them to. If you look at this White Sox lineup as far as this season specifically, 20.4% as far as the Ks, which is not great. Obviously, Flaherty, good strikeout pitcher, 30% in the season. If we throw all three of these guys at the top, but Flaherty's 30%, Ryan's 30%, Webb is 28%, so pretty similar. You talk about Webb, best ground ball pitcher on the slates. Maybe Kolek is, depending on. They're both really good ground ball pitchers. Ryan is an awesome strike thrower, 3.7% as far as walks, 5.5% as far as walks when it comes to Webb. I don't really have – it's like 1A, 1B, 1C. I wish I had a better answer. Ownership is kind of there as well. If you look at it on FanDuel, I think it's like 90% of our projection ownership is one of those three pitchers, right? See, 30% Flaherty, he's the cheapest. Ryan around 22, Webb is around 16. So what? That's 75% of our ownership, right? Is that correct? Somebody check my math. But yeah, maybe a little bit more than that. May getting everybody else in single digits on FanDuel. Flaherty 30%, Ryan 22, Webb 16. I think that's correct. If you're playing a bunch of lineups, most of your pitchers should probably be one of those three. If you want to sprinkle in some May, I'm not going to argue with you. And on DK, where there's 200% percentage points to go around, Flaherty getting almost half at 48%, Ryan at 42%, then Webb at 26%. And if that is accurate, I think you should get over on Webb at 26%. Just if we're assuming, because I think they're all kind of the same. Ryan is vulnerable to give up some homers against the Athletics. They don't have a ton of lefty power, but they have some lefty power. It's the toughest ballpark, and I can see him giving up a couple homers. Maybe the best pitcher amongst the three. You can argue it, but toughest environment, I think, is pretty clear. Ryan in Sacramento. Beyond that, Savali getting 16%, May at 14%, Severino 13%, but it's all kind of nonsense. By the way, the Boston situation, apparently Dick Fitz is going to have 75 pitches. Richard Fitz is going to have Richard Fitz, the pitcher for Boston. There was this piggyback situation earlier in the day. I guess Dobbins comes in, but they're saying 75 to 80, which is probably more than I thought earlier in the day. I just don't know how much I need it because I don't know how much I want to spend up as far as offenses. I'm just prioritizing the arms. I want two of those three. If I can't get to two of those three, it's probably May, and I don't think I'm going to get any lower than that. Severino could be fine. Kolek could be fine. I'm not playing Blackburn. He's just not in that pool. His first game of the year, tough start here in LA. Even if they lose bets, I don't think any of it's necessary. Savali's cheap, I guess. Singer, they're sort of fine-ish. That's a tougher environment as well in Cincy. More of a hitter's ballpark, obviously. But it's basically four guys for me on DK. Ideally three. Do you have a favorite beyond those three? Is it May? Is there somebody else that you would, if you're desperate for salary, you want to spend up on Ohtani and Freeman or something like that? And who's that guy?
Well, that's a good question, D. First of all, so it's Webb and Flaherty 1-2 to me. I'm not even liking Joe Ryan that much tonight, to be honest with you. So I don't think I'm going to go that route. I have no problem fading him for some of the reasons you mentioned. The ballpark, really conducive to hitting. The offense he's facing. Listen, Oakland, if you haven't been watching, if you haven't really been paying attention, they have no issue scoring runs. Their problem and why they're not a real competitive team is because they have zero pitching, which leads to these shootouts anyway. So I have no problem fading Joe Ryan tonight. Indeed, it's a really massive drop off after that. So am I going to play any of these guys? No. If I was having 150 lineups, who would I entertain? Maybe I could entertain some Dustin May. Maybe I could even entertain maybe just a little bit of Jonathan Cannon. Not much, but just a little bit. Just Kolek because of the ballpark. And I'm going to throw this name out there. I'm not rostering him. I have no desire to roster him in 2025 or tonight. But Tyler Anderson, just judging by the matchup, I know we want to think that Boston is this juggernaut of a lineup, but if you're looking at this year's numbers, there's plenty of strikeouts in this lineup. If you go back to last year, combined with this year, every batter in this lineup except for one guy strikes out 20, almost 24% or more, like a massive amount. Now Tyler Anderson's not a big K guy, but every once in a while he can get there. If you give him the right matchup. I'm not going to play him, but I mean he's got to be on radar. If I was running 150, he'd be on the radar, that's for sure. But I have no desire to really go outside Webb or Flaherty, which is easy for me because I'm running one lineup on each side, so it's no big deal.
Yeah, this Boston lineup, like you said, Plate IQ is showing a lot of Ks there, some youth there as well, some small samples. Toro's a really small sample, 28% this season. It's Campbell is in the 9-hole. He's been scuffling, obviously, on the season. 49 ISO, 259 WOBA versus lefties. A lot of walks, but also a lot of strikeouts. He's not been very good. Anderson is reverse splitsy. We're going to get to the stacks, obviously, but obviously you can play Devers and Duran. I saw already trade rumors. That was a Duran rumored to be going to. What was the rumor? God,
San Diego. That's such a weird rumor, man.
Well, I mean, I don't know how much longer he has in Boston. I didn't check to see his contract.
Boston's trying to compete here, man. Like,
are they? They haven't called their best player, so I don't think they're trying to compete.
They went out and spent a lot of money on Bregman and some of these other guys and some of these pitchers and gave up a lot of assets for that. So they're Boston. They don't rebuild. They just try to retool.
Yeah.
I can't believe you would give away your leadoff hitter like that, but maybe there's a sweet. And what does San Diego possibly have left after they got fleeced for the Juan Soto trade? Goodness, they gave up so much, and then some other trades after that.
Abrams and Gore.
Yes, they gave up so much. I mean, what do they have left down there, man? But I don't know.
I keep Googling Duran's contract, and I keep getting Jalen Duran, the Piston. I don't know why I can't type this correctly. But, Duran for Boston, I don't know how much longer he has. But they have some outfielders, too. Like Anthony's another outfielder, so maybe they have a surplus. And I guess we'll have another month or so as far as Boston making decisions.
Yeah, Dean. And speaking of the Nationals, with that young core, I believe they got the number 1 pick, too, and he's going to be that's another Holiday. And he might be better than Jackson.
Oh, really? Oh, it's a Holiday brother?
Yeah, I think it's Ethan Holiday.
Like Matt's did?
Yes, he's supposed to be even better. So they're gonna add that to what they already have. They got a pretty damn incredible core coming up here.
I like what they're doing in Washington, and they blew it up because they kind of sort of had to. And if they all can sort of come together for a couple years, I think they're. I feel good about them in the next couple seasons. Let's go ahead and drop that second clue, by the way, because we have a little bit of a shorter show because we're going to hand it off to Crunch Time at, I believe, 6:30, 6:25. They're knocking on the door. Roth, leader of the Juggalos, Juggalo Nation, KirkDiese coming on, as well as I believe it's Erik Beimfohr. Gonna get Beimfohr away from those best ball drafts for a few minutes. I'm sure he might be live drafting as we're actually on the show. We'll see if we can get his full attention.
It's insane, man. It's June the 2nd, guys.
Well, this is the edge, Chop. You got to get the guys now. They're going to be like get them in the 8th round before all the hype comes in, and all of a sudden now they're the 5th round in 2 months. That's how that goes. You got to be sharp. I drafted a little bit, but I don't pretend to be a best ball savant, but I do it for fun. Then we'll see how it turns out. Second clue today would be Monday is tree. So it's Simon and Garfunkel and tree. That is the first 2 clues. Did see a lot of several people guessed The Graduate, understandably so. Old School, Silence of the Lambs, Starsky and Hutch, The Sound of Silence. I didn't know that was a movie, but I understand what you're doing. Almost Famous. Were they in Almost Famous? Simon and Garfunkel? Was that a song on the soundtrack? Could have been. Wolf of Wall Street, Complete Unknown. Risky Business, A Mighty Wind. Guardians of the Galaxy. No winners just yet, but again, jump in the Discord. Get yourself a week free of RotoGrinders Premium. Anything else you want to say as far as pitchers, right? It's just pretty cut and dry. Jeffers, by the way, not in the Minnesota lineup today. Did get the Twins. It's Buxton, Larnack, Lee, Walner, Correa, Castro, Clemens, France, and Vasquez. Also no Lewis. So you got a backup catcher in Vasquez who's terrible, and Royce Lewis not in that lineup as well. Does that mean we like Severino a little bit more? Just a tick more, I would say. Tick more. No? Yes? Maybe, Chop?
Who?
Just no. Severino gets the face of Minnesota.
Oh, Severino. Oh, Reno. Oh, yeah. You got me. No. I mean, let me see. Minnesota. No, because
Jeffers.
I don't even like Joe Ryan that much because of the environment.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm certainly not gonna like. Did you say it's not Almost Famous?
The answer is not Almost Famous. Correct.
Okay.
Did you think it was Almost Famous?
I was thinking about it.
Great movie, by the way.
I got another guest coming up, Dean.
Okay, feel free to fire it off. I see people in chat are throwing out some guesses, but you want to give me a summary as far as pitchers as we segue and talk about today's stacks?
Oh man, I mean, my summary is going to be different than other people. My summary, I like two guys that stand out head and shoulders above everybody else: Logan Webb, Jack Flaherty. I would put Joe Ryan the next level down. But although most people would probably have him in the same tier, if not just as high as those other two, but that's just me personally. There's a mid-tier that features May and Severino and some of these other guys, which I'm not interested in. But if you in GPPs, I guess you could go there. And then anybody left over after that, probably not somebody you want to play in that environment or against that particular offense tonight. So it's pretty cut and dry pitcher tonight.
So we're trying to figure out today's tiers, Chop, our tiers category, and I always like to see if there's anything goofy. These made up holidays. Today is natural. It was National Hamburger Day the other day. I don't know who decides this. I feel like you're probably paying somebody. I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things you got to pay your way in to get one of these holidays. But amongst other things, today is it's National Bubba Day. What did you do to celebrate National Bubba Day, Chop? Did you do anything special?
Yeah, I went to Bubba's restaurant in San Antonio. They have a eclectic menu.
Yeah.
Yeah, some
different varieties of shrimp, I guess.
No. That's a whole. That's the Bubba Gump Shrimp Company.
Oh, okay. There's a place that's called Bubba's?
Yeah, there's a. I guess it's a chain just called Bubba's, and so they've got some good food. But yeah, go to Bubba's.
Is it like a barbecue place?
That's what I would guess. But they probably have some barbecue. They've got all kinds of good stuff. I think it's a scratch kitchen. It's pretty good, not bad. But no, you're thinking Bubba Gump, which is owned by the same guy that owns Landry's Seafood. It's a spinoff of Landry's Seafood.
I'm not sure if I've been there before. I'm not sure if I'm aware of that, but we did power rank Bubba's, which Bubba, we also had this conversation, and let me know in chat. I'm curious. Maybe we could drop a poll. You were saying Bubba is like something that people negatively call somebody, like you say Bubba, like you say, who's this Bubba or whatever. According to National Bubba Day, Bubba is a nickname, also a pet name given to someone as a term of endearment. So this is at least, I don't know if this is those that celebrate Bubba Day. They're saying it's a positive. It's used in a positive sense. I think it could go both ways, depending on who you're talking to and what sort of how well you know the person. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it could definitely be used on both sides of the fence there.
Oh, we forgot about Bubba the Love Sponge. He did not get ranked. They're saying Bubba the Love Sponge there in chat. Noted radio personality. So our board, there wasn't a lot of Bubbas. You did kind of reference it. Who was number one? It kind of sort of had to be, right? Bubba Gump. You may know better as Benjamin Buford Bubba Blue, but of course, I guess everybody knows him better as Bubba Gump, who likes his shrimp. Bubba Wallace, who's we had to do a Google. He is still driving cars. Neither one of us are NASCAR people, but I think he won something earlier this year. So shout out to him. It's really not hard to crack this board. Not a lot of Bubbas out there. You suggested Hubba Bubba. which I thought was bad gum. I don't know. I'm not a gum aficionado. But you put it in the middle because some people like it, some people don't. So Bubba Sparks. I'm surprised. I thought you'd want him like higher. I feel like you're a Bubba Sparks guy. This is kind of your wheelhouse. But we put Bubba Sparks. God, what was his one big one hit? What was his one? Get ugly or something like that? Or
is it getting? What is it? What is it, guy? It's getting ugly. Maybe it is ugly. He's jamming. Oh yeah. Oh, Mr. Irrelevant. I forgot. He has Miss New Booty also. That's a pretty good song. 4 is about right.
That was his follow-up song.
I get it. He had a couple of decent songs, but probably appropriating the culture a little bit too much.
Yeah, I just know the one song and never really. I didn't listen to any of his CDs or anything like that, or hit him up on Spotify. And then, I thought it was appropriate because the Royals are not in the slate today. Somebody in chat actually referenced it. They're calling up one of the biggest prospects in all of baseball, Joe Canigliano, which, by the way, Canigliano and Vinny Pasquantino. I mean, if you're an Italian out there, you don't have a favorite team. Maybe it's the Royals. But Bubba Sterling, once upon a time, former first rounder, was a mega prospect for the Royals and just totally did not do well. He was a bust. That happens more in baseball than other sports, obviously. Somebody had to be last. He retired like 3 years ago. He had maybe a season or two in the majors a couple years ago. Oh, Bubba Ray Dudley, the wrestler. Yeah, we forgot about him too. That was a mistake on our part, I suppose. A part of the famed Dudley Boys. We did not acknowledge his existence, but yeah, some good. Yeah, and we consider Bubba Smith from the Police Academy Hightower, but he just didn't make the board. There were some others receiving votes. Bubba McDowell, former quarterback for the Houston Oilers, if you're old enough to recall him. But all right, let's go ahead. Let's throw some teams and tiers.
What position did he play?
I think he was a quarterback, right?
Bubba McDowell?
Yeah, wasn't he? Pretty
was
sure.
Secondary guy.
Corner. I said corner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think he's probably part of them run and shoot teams.
He was. That was my favorite team as a kid.
Houston
that's
was
why
really awesome back then.
And those really sweet jerseys. I know the Titans have revived them, but it's fine. They're allowed to. So they should keep those jerseys alive. They're one of the best jerseys in football. We can have a different conversation about that another day. But the powder blue is really sweet. All right. I guess Justin heard quarterback as well. I guess I cannot say that very clearly. Cornerback. All right. 12 teams to throw in some tiers. Let's go ahead and drop that third clue as well. We want to get a winner before crunch time comes in. The third clue is Texas. Simon and Garfunkel, Tree, and Texas. We do have a TJ here, so I'm not sure what the actual number is, but I believe Spidey Bombs also are lurking. If you hit that like button, you don't have to hit a certain number of subscribes, notifications and all that. That's not a requirement to get Spidey Bombs, but we would also appreciate that. There it is. Every 50 likes, TJ is dropping some Spidey Bombs for the people. Let's go ahead, throw some teams and some tiers. The Brewers, the Reds, that's the first game at 7:10. Savali taking on Brady Singer. One of the better environments that we have, 4.5 total on both sides, basically a coin toss. Vegas throwing their hands up here. Shop, I think you highlighted Will Benson today. You're looking for a cheapie. I think you like yourself some Will Benson. I meant to look to see what his pinch hit alert was. It's always a little bit concerning, but curious to get your thoughts here, Chop, as far as the Brewers and the Reds. Where are we throwing them?
Well, Dean, here's the thing. It's not, Will Benson is just hey, there you go. Spidey Bomb number 1 is Ellie De La Cruz from this Reds game, which leads me into the Reds, which is going to be my first number 1 tier tonight, the big dog, Bubba Gump. It's going to be number 1. Cincinnati. I just like this. I mean, Savali is okay, average at best, big-time fly ball guy, big-time home run park here. Fair enough offense, talented enough offense for these guys. I really like the Reds offense tonight, so I have plenty of them in my lineup. I like them. I do like several. I mentioned Will Benson, but that could be any one of about 7 different guys for Cincinnati that I really like tonight. So that's my number 1 team on the board here. Tier 1, Cincinnati. Milwaukee's going to be a tier 3 team. Same ballpark. Offense, I don't think is quite as dynamic as Cincinnati, and the matchup is just a touch tougher, touch more difficult. Singer's probably he is a lot harder to get a home run off of. He's more in low 30s for fly ball range type stuff. I'll go with the guy who's in the mid 40s on that side. So Milwaukee's a tier 3 for me.
All right, Chop. My apologies. I'm a little bit distracted. I got a painter calling me. He says, call me back in 10 minutes.
What's he going to paint?
The house. You got to paint the house. You know what I mean?
Are you going inside, interior or exterior?
Exterior. Yeah, and then we'll see. But for now,
is this a house you own?
It's sort of.
Okay. And you don't. And how big is it, Dean? What are we talking about square footage here?
It's like a 3.2 that maybe 2,000. I don't know. I don't know the exact dimensions.
Square feet. Is it one story or 2 stories?
It's one story.
Is there a high pitch on the roof pitch? Is there a high pitch?
A high pitch? No, I don't think so.
Or is it pretty? No. Is it pretty level?
Is that a Texas thing? I don't think there's a high pitch. No, I wouldn't say so.
Dang, dude, you ought to do that yourself, man. That doesn't.
Dude, are you serious?
That does not sound tough.
Have you been to Florida? Do you know the humidity?
I live in Texas, sir. I promise you can't outdo me.
Have you painted your house before?
Yes, I've done it all, Dean. I've worked on houses before, man.
You're a harder worker than I am. I'm very heat sensitive.
I grew up with a good work ethic, but yeah, like I think you could probably pull it off, Dean, with a little bit of a direction from somebody. I'll direct you if you need it.
I'm a hard worker, but not like outside in the heat work. You know what I mean? Not. I appreciate those that are able to do that, but that's really not for me. But I respect if you do that yourself. But it's not for me. It's just not something that I could, and I wouldn't do it well either. I wouldn't be very good at it. I understand it's probably not that difficult, but
I could bring my power washer. That's the first thing you got to do, power washer, to get all the stuff.
So
I could bring my power washer. Dude. If we lived in the same state, I bring over my power washer, knock it out. Then we go to Home Depot, pick up everything you need. We can knock that out in a week.
That's taking our time. My least favorite store,
and that's taking our time too, so we don't get caught in the midday sun. But yeah, we can knock it out, Dean. It's
brutal. I do not like going to home. I'm very unmanly when it comes to fixing things and painting and all that kind of stuff. I just gotta hire people. All right, let's move on. You got the Reds up there with Bubba Gump. The Brewers right there in the middle with Hubba Bubba. Let's talk about the Angels. The Angels in Boston. Boston does have a team total above 5, taking on Tyler Anderson, reverse splitsy. Richard Fitz leading off as far as drone baseballs. They're saying 75 to 80. So I know earlier in the day there was speculation to be kind of a piggyback situation. A few more balls being thrown here, assuming things are going well, but still probably wouldn't roster him. Good ballpark here, obviously in Boston. What is the weather? 69 is what I'm seeing. Is that changing? Weather edge gives a slight edge to hitting today in a pretty good sample, 121, but nothing to get terribly excited about. Angels, Red Sox, what do you got?
So I'm supposing my guesses are shooting an air ball in chat, right, Dean?
It is not Dead Poet Society or Dazed and Confused. And I see the chat is giving me the business. Look, they're giving me a hard time. I'm sorry. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not good at. This is something I know I'm not good at, and that's and I'm okay hiring somebody else to do it. That's
Dean, I'm with you 100%. One of the benefits of being good at DFS is we don't have to we don't have to paint things ourselves. We don't have to fix things ourselves. You can get a guy.
Well, Chop is good at, he's done all right. He's won $1 million a couple times, and he's still like, screw it.
If you're good at it, though, do what you're good at. You know what I mean? Like, if it's not a tough thing for you to just do it, all the power to you.
Listen, the thing is, this is with a lot of projects, is I wouldn't, and I respectfully to everybody who does that out there, I wouldn't want to do it anymore full time. Like, I don't want to take on a job. I don't want to be a painter full time anymore. I don't want to, with respect, I don't want to be a shrimper full time. I used to do that with my dad in the summertime, Don't want to do any of that full time. But man, doing that stuff every once in a while, just around your own house, that's very therapeutic, Dean. Or helping out a friend do it, very therapeutic. I mean, you get in there, you can pop in your headphones if that's your deal, listen to some music and take care of it. And you see your progress along the way. Feels good, Dean. Feels good.
You were a part-time shrimper? Shout out to you.
Part-time, man, sir. I was
You worked the shrimp boat?
12, 13, 14 years old and getting up on all my friends were out there at the pool, hanging out at the pool. I was getting up at 4 a.m. with my dad, getting on the boat, man, loading the boat up and going out to the Galveston Bay. Yeah.
So I didn't do that, but I did when I was like 12 or 13, 14 years old. I did work at the swap shop. If you know what the swap shop is, like the biggest down in South Florida. They have like they still have a drive-in movie theater there. And I would set up the tent and sell sports cards at like, So I was doing other things. I'm not afraid of work, but I'm afraid of like hard labor. I wouldn't say afraid, but not good at it. By the way, we got the Dodgers. No bets, no surprise there at all. Ohtani, Teoscar, Freeman, Pajes in the 4 spot. Muncy, who's banged out a couple homers of late. Conforto, Edman. We got Rushing doing the catching as we projected, so no Will Smith. And then Kim is doing hitting in the 9-hole as the shortstop. So a little bit cheaper as far as the stack today. Bet still dealing with that toe. Okay, let's talk about Detroit and the White Sox. 8.5 total. Flaherty, big time favorite, minus 240, taking on the White Sox. Parker Meadows making his debut this season. He was on the 60-day IL. We also have no Torkelson for Detroit. How do we feel about the Tigers and the White Sox?
Just some people asking me about the shrimping in chat, Dean. You know, I'm always good to get into the shrimping. It was we inshore Galveston, actually West Bay is what a question I had in chat. East or West Bay? It was West Bay. It was a little 20-footer with a 100 horsepower Evinrude on it. You know, easy stuff, man. Just a lot of manual labor. We didn't have the big winches like the big boys did on their boats. Although my dad had one of those deadliest catch boats for a while, but it was a money pit. So by the time I was like 10, he had already gotten rid of it. But we had some good times out there on the water, man. It was fun stuff. But what game are we on, Dean? Detroit, Chicago?
Yeah, but I also don't see the Angels and Boston on the board here. Did you not?
Angels. Oh, we didn't do that yet.
We talked about it, but we got distracted by shrimp.
Distracted. Yeah, something like Boston's a tier 2.
Yeah.
Boston was a tier 2 against Tyler Anderson, even though they strike out a lot. I mean, it's still a pretty good matchup for them. And the Angels, I'm gonna go tier 3. I think the lineup is better than kind of think it should be, and especially with Trout back. But I'm going to go tier 3 for him. I don't think this is a great – like, I hate these games where a pitcher's going to pitch only a short amount of time, then you're going to get somebody else in there, and creates a tough environment for hitting, in my opinion. So I'll put him in tier 3.
Yeah, I mean, the expected guy after Fitz is another righty for what it's worth. But, yeah, we also have Detroit now. For me, by the way, Detroit's one of my favorite teams. A good environment as far as hitting baseballs as well. One of the better spots when it comes to temperature out there in Chicago. The wind is blowing it a little bit, but at least it's in the 80s at first pitch. Cannon taking on Flaherty. We talked about Flaherty, but he's vulnerable to lefty power, just not a lot of lefty power. Vargas has been pretty good this year. Like, if anybody's been sneaky good for the White Sox, it's been Vargas. You know, and he obviously comes with a ton of pedigree. Once upon a time was a huge prospect for the Dodgers before they shipped him out. He's the one guy in the green. I guess Tauchman is as well in a small sample. But, Vargas is my favorite hitter on Chicago if I had to pick one, but I don't like a lot, obviously. Where do you have Detroit and Chicago?
Let me see here. Detroit, Chicago. I'll pull up some numbers for you real quick, Dean. Because I was looking at it today. Yeah, over the last couple of weeks, Miguel Vargas, he's barreling the ball 23% of the time with a 48.7% hard hit rate. So some people say he's in the zone. He's feeling it, man. He's hot. So I like that call. Otherwise, Flaherty and Cannon going at it here. I have Chicago, the White Sox. Vargas is a great one-off in GPPs, but as a stack, I got Chicago in tier 5. I don't want any piece of the White Sox. And then Detroit for me, I'm going to go tier 2 for them. It's probably being a little bit ambitious, but it's a big team total. I don't like the owners. The ownership's going to be pretty heavy on them, but you can get Cannon out of the game. You get a piece of a pretty poor bullpen. So there's a lot to like about Detroit. They got some good hitters. I'm going to put them in tier 2.
I like Detroit as well. They're one of my favorite teams. I don't really love any stacks today, but I think I have Detroit as my second favorite stacks, which I ranked earlier in the day. I wish Torkelson was in there. I like his power, but Meadows being back, I think it's a little bit better. 9 innings locked in for sure. You got that bullpen to pick on if things get ugly for Chicago. 3 more games. Let's go ahead and drop a 4th clue because I'm looking at the Discord. I don't think we have a winner just yet. It's not Shawshank or Once Upon a Time in Queens or Remember the Alamo. Let's see. Friday Night Lights, Galveston, Logan. Lots of guesses here. Let's see if the 4th clue changes some things here. It is Bank. Simon and Garfunkel, Tree, Texas, and Bank. Chop, you've had some good guesses. You haven't quite got there. And Jay Brunton in Discord likes to guess Leprechaun in the Hood. And for the 137th consecutive time, Movie Monday is not Leprechaun in the Hood, but it's due. It's due. One of these days it will be. And, somebody nailed it in chat. Shout out to Dunk. Dunk 101 is our winner. I won't officially reveal the movie just yet, but Dunk just got it on the 4th clue. Get yourself a week free of RG Premium. Everybody else, you can just go ahead and pay for it if you want it. All the bells, all the whistles. You get the optimizer. Baseball is $425 for the entire season. You get everything else. You get that a la carte if that's all you want. You don't want to do sports, by all means, just get yourself some baseball, and that's that. Projections, Dave Potts' article, Cheese is good. The rankings, the bells, the whistles, the optimizer, the umpire data. But you get everything else included if you quit the 6 months. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey, MMA, PGA, WNBA, all the sports. 35% off. Commit to 6 months. Get yourself into the description on the YouTube. Get yourself a link there, and you'll get 35% off. Also, as always, if you're in the player prop streets, you're talking about underdog and just props on your sports book, prize picks, things of that sort. We do have our props and pick 'em package. First month, you get 50% off. Again, link in the description for that. All right. 3 more games. We got crunch time coming in 15 minutes. We have knockers as well. Also, the BBP suggestion of the day. And continue to hit that like button because more Spidey Bombs will drop. We have just 1 dropping so far. Padres, Giants, Logan Webb, Stephen Kolek, 7.5 total. Padres barely have a 3 total. Tough ballpark, tough matchup against Webb. Where do you have the Padres and the Giants?
This is definitely a pitcher's game right here, man. There's no way these guys are going to be rated high. San Diego for me is a tier 5. I'm just going to be locked into Logan Webb, so I have no desire to play any San Diego guys. San Francisco, I got a little bit better of a matchup. Pretty fair lineup, but still nothing that I would get too excited about in GPPs for stacking or anything. So tier 4 for San Francisco. I'm not really feeling that one either too much.
San Fran in tier 4, and you put San Diego in the bottom, right? Hanging out with the White Sox, getting
Correct.
that the stench of the White Sox right up next to them. That's the way it is these days. White Sox basically in their permanent spots. We got a Minnesota lineup, no Athletics just yet. We did mention that Blade has been activated, so not sure if he's in that lineup, not sure if things will change, but we're expecting, actually currently not expecting Blade, but maybe he sneaks his way in there. I didn't see who they sent down. Maybe it was Denzel Clark who had an incredible catch the other night. Not sure if you saw that, but that was pretty spectacular. Twins, Athletics, 9.5 total. The Twins are minus 170 favorites because they have Joe Ryan, one of the better pitchers. We did mention there's no Jeffers, also no Royce Lewis. Where do you have Minnesota and the Athletics?
Minnesota and the Athletics. Severino, Joe Ryan, Oakland against Joe Ryan, a tier 3. Like, I think there's some leverage to be had here if Joe Ryan's going to be that popular, and this is a good offense and a good hitting environment, so I'm going to bump them up more than what they typically would be. So they're a tier 3 for me. Minnesota, I'm just I like the stacking against Severino here. I like it. I think there's some merit to it. I wish the lineup was a little bit better, but that's okay. We got some hitters in that lineup that I can get behind. But Minnesota going to be a tier 1 for me. I'm going to jump them up there to tier 1. Got to fall back on something tonight. You got to take a stand somewhere. So Minnesota in this ballpark against Severino, who I think he's league average at best, if that. And when he leaves the game, we're going to get – this is Oakland, man. We're going to get one of the best bullpens to pick on in the game once you get him out of there. So, yeah, I like these Minnesota stacks. In fact, Dean, this will be like a running theme for the whole season, I think. As long as Oakland doesn't make any improvements to their bullpen, I'll always have the stack against them pretty high, man.
Just wait until it starts heating up a little bit more out there in Sacramento as well. It's been a great spot for yielding home runs. Last game, Mets, Dodgers. We have both lineups here: Lindor, Namo, Soto, Polar Bear, Alonso. Jared Young is starting. I would say be on pinch hit alert for that one. Beatty, Taylor, McNeil, Alvarez, and we mentioned the Dodgers earlier. No bets. Dustin May, minus 160 favorite, taking on the season debuting Paul Blackburn. Not the kind of pitcher that's going to shut people down. Not the kind of pitcher we're necessarily afraid of. Professional pitcher, which is like not the biggest compliment. Yeah, Dodgers, Mets. Dodgers are the biggest team total on the board, I believe, at 5.27. Detroit is kind of right there, and Boston's kind of right there. Team total specific, they're very, very close. But Dodgers have the slight edge. Where do you have LA and the Mets? The hammer game, last game of the slate.
The hammer, Dean, maybe the best two teams in the National League. And in fact, I would say after the little brother Yankees went into LA this weekend and got absolutely pumped, maybe big brother Mets can come in and lay out the cape over the puddle for them and help out little brother, man, get through. But I like the Mets in general. I like the Mets to beat the Dodgers in a 7-game series if it started tomorrow. But tonight, Dodgers going to go in tier 2. Good team. Should be in tier 1 typically, but I'm looking at that ownership percentage on them. That's a lot. So I'm going to bump them down just based on ownership a little bit here. The New York Mets, I like the offense. Not a great matchup tonight, but I'll put the Mets in tier 3. They're going to be this tier 2 for the Dodgers, tier 3 for the Mets. I think there's if this is your hammer game, you could do worse here. This is some good. This is some decent pitching, but these are really good offenses right here.
The fifth clue, Chop, I'll summarize the board here in a second. The fifth clue for Movie Monday, if you're still playing along, was Heist, Simon and Garfunkel. Okay. That's all one clue. Tree, Texas, Bank, and Heist. Those are your clues.
I'll just throw I didn't look at nothing, Dean, except for I've seen some passing thoughts in our YouTube chat. Didn't think of, but is it Hell or High Water?
It is Hell or High Water.
You gave it, after tier 4, should have known.
One is my favorite clue. I like Simon and Garfunkel because it's a double clue, but neither are like amazing. But the movie stars Jeff Bridges. Jeff Bridges, of course, one of the most popular songs ever by Simon and Garfunkel. I guess what is it? Depending on Bridge Over Troubled Water, and then Bridge Over Troubled Water, Hell or High Water. You got Water, you got Jeff Bridges, all in the same song. Is that the best Simon and Garfunkel? Maybe it's Sound of Silence. Maybe it's Mrs. Robinson, depending on who you ask. You ever hear the Disturbed version of Sound of Silence? That is worth checking out. The Conan O'Brien version, it's incredible. It's if you don't feel anything, listen to that. And music's just not for you. That was the first clue. Tree was in reference to the co-star. It's Jeff Bridges and Chris Pine Tree. We almost went Cone. We went Tree. The movie takes place in Texas. There's a bank heist. So that's clue 4, clue 5. And I did not need to get to my bonus clues, but somebody in chat said they'd never heard of it. But yeah, highly recommend. And for some reason, people don't talk about this movie. It's one of the better movies from the 2010s. Would you agree, Chop? Are you on board with that thought?
Yeah, I'd say I'd venture so far to say I wouldn't even limit it to the 2010s. It's just a great movie. Period. No matter what, just a great movie, dude. Just the acting in it is just like off the charts. The storyline, it actually keeps you guessing for a long time. It hits home like this when you find out what it's all about at the end. Like it really hits home. Like, oh man, this is what they were really doing. This is what they were. It's just a great movie, man. Period.
That is Hell or High Water. There you go. I dropped the link to TJ if he wants to throw that in the screen. Actually, let's give the summary first as far as the board. 2 teams in Gump. This, of course, everybody knows this. I'm sure plenty of people throughout your day have wished you a happy Bubba Day. We celebrated Happy Bubba Day by ranking Bubbas. Bubba Gump has 2 teams, Cincinnati, Minnesota. Bubba Wallace has Boston, Detroit, and the Dodgers. Hubba Bubba has Milwaukee, the Angels, the Athletics, the Mets. Bubba Sparks, Tier 4, just the Giants. And then Bubba Sterling has the White Sox and San Diego. Crunch time coming in about 5 minutes or so, Chop. You know what time it is. The people want the knockers. The people want the BVP suggestion of the day.
Well, Dean, I got some good news. I got some bad news. I will have some knockers for you.
Yeah.
But the BVP suggestion of the day is not going to happen today. There's only 6 games, and I can't force it. I can't force it, and there's just not any real spots that are jumping out on the algorithm. So,
Kerry Carpenter?
No, didn't jump out. I don't even know the numbers, but you tell me what the numbers are now. I'll tell you why it didn't jump out, but it just didn't jump out. So
it's 7 at bats. That's a small sample, but I don't know how I can't. Who am I to say how your algorithm works?
That's a bit low.
4 hits, a single, a double, and 2 homers.
Nah, that doesn't do it, Dean. That doesn't. The algorithm is smarter than that. You're not gonna get it to fall for some bait like that. No, sir. So that's not gonna happen. But Dean, I don't know if you're a fan of Queens, maybe Queen Latifah. You want some Queen Latifah knockers? Have you ever seen the Queen of the Gambit or the Gambit Queen? You ever seen that?
The Queen's Gambit it's in my queue. I've never watched it, but I hear it's spectacular. I've not watched The Equalizer.
I don't, if you maybe her knockers, that Queen's knock, because my knockers are coming from Queen City tonight, Dean. That's where I'm going with this. Get some Queen City knockers. Maybe you look like a Queen Latifah guy. You look like you might like some Queen Latifah knockers.
What does a Queen Latifah guy look like?
You know what I'm saying. Listen, we're going 5, 6 in the batting order here. Spencer Steer and the aforementioned Will Benson. Those are my knockers tonight. Let's get some home runs off of Civale.
Are you at all concerned that there are 4 lefties in that Milwaukee bullpen, and that might boot Benson out of the lineup?
Because we're trying to. Well, we're not saying it doesn't look like he's going to get booted by projections. Like they don't give him a whole lot of chance here, I don't think. So, but I can't play that game right there. I want to say I'm betting on him against Civale anyway. Like once you get to the bullpen, if it's a close game and you're in the bullpen, you're probably in trouble anyway.
Yeah,
because you're getting the leverage arms. If it's a blowout and you're in the bullpen, you're probably all right. So I want to get 2 at-bats against Civale. That's who I want to take advantage of. And I think with his high fly ball rate in this ballpark, I think I can get a home run out of one of these 2 guys.
We have crunch time coming in here shortly. I'm trying to see. We have every lineup with the exception of San Diego. We got everything else. I think the Giants dropped at some point throughout the show. Ramos, Lee, Flores, Chapman. He has Skrimsky, Adames, Wade, Bailey, and Fitzgerald. Yeah, no San Diego, which again, that's 3 hours away. So Yelich is in there. If you're curious if he was going to play, I think he left yesterday with I think it was just a contusion. So I assume he is fine, and it's a good ballpark for him to take his hacks here in Cincinnati, especially against the righty. You were talking about the Queen City homers. I don't mind Yelich. If you do a little game stack, if you're into such things, don't mind running it back there with Yelich on the other side. Anything else of note before we turn it over to crunch time? I guess they're knocking on the door. They'll be here shortly. You got Kevin Roth. I wanted to give a refresh to the weather report. I don't think there's anything dicey. Nope. Straight green in Chicago, and for the Athletics, which is in Sacramento. Roth is telling us that's the best hitting weather of the day. No surprise there. Chop, you're only making 1 lineup. So who's like the player, the team, the stack, the pitcher that you're most afraid of not having in that 1 lineup?
It's probably going to be Shohei. Like, you're always taking a chance of a double home run if by not rostering him. He's so good, and he's going against Blackburn. But I just don't see myself being able to get to him in my lineup. I might be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But if I build, and somehow I say, oh shit, I got 6,500 left over, I can play him. That's fine. But I don't think I'll be able to do that. And he's the guy who can do it. So, and then after that, I don't mind the lefty on lefty, Rafael Devers or Jarren Duran against Tyler Anderson, the lefty on lefty. Don't mind it, but I don't think I'm getting to it in my lineup, and that especially the Devers and his power, that kind of scares me a little bit. I think Tyler Anderson's a little bit more reverse splitsy, so I do worry about that one a little bit.
All right, we have crunch time coming in here shortly. I guess we got 2/3. I guess we're waiting for Kirkwood. Has Kirkwood been hanging out in the chat? Has he been lurking? A lot of times he's just lurking in chat.
Yeah, all rise, Jug Nation, rise up. Where's KirkDiese at?
I feel like you've been talking to him privately throughout the show. I see you typing away. You're in some sort of private chat. I see you a little bit distracted sometimes.
I'm in the private chat. Yeah, I got. They were making fun of me for my Jarren Duran. I tagged him in lineup HQ earlier. They're making fun of me.
Why would they make fun of you?
Because he's 0 for 4. Because he has 0 for 4 BVP.
Oh, well, that's definitely worthy. Your this private chat is very BVP centric, is what I'm understanding.
Yeah, it is.
So that means that Kirkwood's definitely in there as well. All right, let's go ahead. Let's bring in crunch time. We got Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth, Erik Beimfohr. We have leader of Juggalo Nation, Chris Kirkwood, KirkDiese. Let's do it. Crunch time right now. All right. Before we get started, Erik, you want to point me what direction is the gym? Did you know where is the gym?
Tank top action.
I don't want to embarrass anybody, Dean. Let's keep it simple. Maybe later. Maybe at the end of the show.
Beimfohr. Question: you give Roth, put him on the line of scrimmage, and he's going to run a post on you. Do you think he's making the catch or not?
Absolutely no chance.
No chance.
No chance.
No chance. Well, that's a Division II cornerback up there.
He was a corner, yeah.
That's a Jason Sehorn.
There's
Sehorn up there.
I can't be a 0% chance because I guess there's like technically a chance like I get struck by lightning or something while he's running the route. But outside of that, there's no chance.
I didn't realize you were actually a cornerback. I was about to absolutely go in on you, but I take it back. You're probably right.
I one rep. It's 1 rep max nowadays because we'll be gas for the rest of the day. But yeah, we can do 1.
That's fair.
Erik, how many best ball teams are you currently drafting right now? Are going to have your full attention for the next half hour or so?
Well, that's a different question, but maybe 100 or so far.
Well, wait, no. I'm saying currently live.
No, that would be impressive. But no, I've none. I mean, I'm in a bunch of slow drafts, Dean. But you get 8 hours to pick in a slow draft, so I think I can talk a little baseball for a few minutes.
Why? What is the advantage in the slow drafts? I feel like the sharpest people are in the slow drafts. Can you
it's
give
just
me the
easier.
30-second pitch?
Yeah, it's just easier to get I drafted 1,500 teams last year. This is terrible to admit to the public on the internet, but this is awesome. Drafted a bunch of teams. If you're gonna get the pythons like the Crunch Time team has here, you got to take steps away from the computer every once in a while. So batching in some slow drafts is good. It's kind of like an optimizer for 150, Dean.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. I've not dabbled in those streets just yet, but I have done a little bit of the 30 seconds. I know there's 20 seconds on Underdog. It's like 7-minute abs, 6-minute abs. That's we need more minutes for abs, right? But 20 seconds is too. I think that's too fast for me. Kirkwood, have you been working it? Do you want to tell me which way the gym is? Should I have asked you? That was my mistake.
No, I whichever the other way is, that's the way I've been going.
You can tell me where the Supercuts is, though, right?
If I go on a Supercuts, you can rest assured that I've given up on the gym at this point.
There's a Venn diagram. That's what you're saying.
Big news for me, like the highlight of my week before. I've had a lot of sicknesses, but I'm like fully recovered right now. This is great. The first day back for everything. But there's a new burrito place came to the neighborhood that was my favorite in Boston. So now I don't have to go to Chipotle anymore. Huge news. Huge.
Is it
Is that the
Freebirds?
best
What is it?
idea when you're getting out of sickness?
It's only a local here around here. It's called Anna's Taqueria, but
Oh, okay. Well, good for you.
huge,
All right.
huge news.
big. It's big.
If only it was next to the Supercuts, that would be more perfect. But
that's where the Chipotle is and the Panera. It's suburbia, you know.
Roth, how are things? Everything good?
Yeah, man. Life is good. No complaints. I
All
saw
right.
Chop, by the way. Did you see this? The Halliburton. It was a Halliburton Taliban post that this man made.
That's new.
I don't know what you're
You
talking
don't
about.
follow Nick's Twitter. I love hearing they hate him so much. They call him Halliburton after he blew up New York like that in the playoffs.
This
love
was just absolutely outrageous. But I assume, Chop, you're cheering for the Pacers.
Oh my God, you have no idea. Did you see Chet's new haircut? Come on, man. We can't have this guy running around all summer as an NBA
I hate
champion.
Chet. I
We
hate
can't have
Chet.
him as an NBA champion all summer.
Why do you guys hate OKC? I don't.
And I
understand.
hate Caruso. I used to love the guy. I can't stand him anymore.
You would love to have Caruso on your team.
No.
On your team?
No. I mean,
He's the classic love him when
I'd
he works in
reevaluate.
the-
I'd reevaluate. He's awesome, but I hate him. I hate his bald head.
It's the head? It's the entire body.
It might be that. It might be that.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. This is your takes. On that note, Chop, let's step aside and get out here. Hit that crunch. Hit that like button. Crunch time is knocking on the door. They're here. You got up for the next 40 minutes. Maybe they let's see. Let's see if they can make it last for 40 minutes because just 6 games, Roth make it happen. It's Kevin Roth taking over right now.
Good stuff, as always. Welcome to it, ladies and gents. You know the drill. It's crunch time. It's two of the sharpest minds in the biz hanging out with us here. We're going to take you up to lock, maybe. We might take you through lock. We're going to answer some questions, give you pitchers, hitters, home run calls, do all the things that we do. We got Beimfohr in the house. Sun's out, guns out. How you feeling, man?
Yeah, it's hot as hell here. So we were just outside getting the dogs a little exercise. The wife's been out of town this weekend. Roth, we got to go pick her up from the airport tonight. So that's what I'm getting all the vibes out of the way before, we head back to reality here in a few hours.
That checks out, because if I did that, my wife would be like, "What are you doing?" She would immediately just be like, "What's going on?"
I can confirm, however, she has never watched a second of anything that I've ever done on the internet. So we're safe so far through 10 years or whatever.
That's good. It's a good support system you've got. I was just trying to beat the heat with my kids. We were in the pool, and immediately, this is the 3rd or 4th time in a row my kids shit themselves in the pool. It's like a lot. You get in the pool. There's something that happens with gravity and just immediate poop in the pool. So that's fun. We're going on.
Is it gravity? I'm not sure.
It's like the lack of gravity. I'm not sure what it is, but it happens. Anyways, and we got KirkDiese in the house as well. What up, man? You ever poop in the pool?
Haven't had my kid hasn't pooped in the pool yet.
That's good. I didn't ask about your kid, but
I've hit a few pools in my lifetime. I mean, if we want to go down this road, I mean, we can talk about sharding as you get older. I got a great story, but I'll save it for another day.
That's probably a good idea. How you feeling, man?
But I'm doing good. I got a sickness last week for my kid, stomach bug. He had it first, and then it hit me and the missus over here. Man, it was like most brutal 2 days of my life. But that was over on Saturday. We're back. We played some DFS yesterday. We're playing more today. So I'm feeling good.
Yeah, those stomach bugs, there's like very few worse feelings than getting one of those for like 36 hours. You're just hugging the toilet.
And then we couldn't, I couldn't do anything for Dylan here, because we're like both dying and the place just became a tornado. It was.
Yeah, it's chaos.
Yeah,
I feel you. Well, I'm glad you're back. It's good to hear. It is, someone mentioned it's Pacifico Monday. That is correct. The show not yet sponsored by Pacifico, but it could be. Reach out to us, every Monday. I will be happy to give you some exposure, Pacifico. Let's talk about the slate. There's no weather concerns, which is great. So I don't know who the hell's playing. I don't know what's going on. I just looked. I was like, not going to rain. I'm off the hook. So Beimfohr, why don't you give me a brief little rundown here? We like to start with pitchers. You could start there, or you could just give me a general outlook. Your call.
Yeah, I think pitchers is probably, generally the right place to start, but smaller slate, not an awesome pitching slate, but there are a handful of guys I think that stand out above the rest. And so that kind of dictates everything that you want to do. You even see in SimLabs on the screen, right, that Jack Flaherty and Joe Ryan, despite being extremely popular, are not projecting to be under-owned If anything, especially depending upon the contest, they might, are not projecting to be over owned. They might be under owned on this slate, even though like you're playing two almost 50% owned pitchers, because the rest of the pitchers are not necessarily bad, but there isn't a lot of fantasy upside. It's a lot of pitch to contact type guys, and then some guys in some bad spots. Like Logan Webb is like fine, like a fine real life pitcher, but the Padres don't really strike out. You're hoping for, I don't know, 7 innings and 5 strikeouts or something like that. Limit some runs. The park is nice. If I want to get away from the top 2 guys, which I do think are like head and shoulders above the rest, Aaron Savali, I never know how to say this dude's name, but for the Brewers, he's $6,000. I'm not excited about it. It's not a great park. He's not a great pitcher, but he's $6,000, and the Reds are far from an offense that I'm like running away from. If you can, escape Ellie De La Cruz doing what he does every once in a while. Shout out to him, by the way, hit a home run the day after his sister passed away, which was super, super sad. But so maybe the narrative street is not going for old Savali tonight if Ellie catches on fire because of the real world. But I just don't have interest in like a ton of guys. You can shoot flyers on, Dustin May is probably too good to be 7% owned on this slate, but he's also not like great. It's the Mets. They also don't strike out. So I'm really just focusing in on Flaherty and Ryan tonight. And if I got a punt, I'm going down to Savali with the Brewers.
Okay, pretty straightforward, really. Kirkwood, I want to get your thoughts. Are you on board with like just play the good dudes, or are you trying to get a little creative?
Yeah, but I think Savali stinks. So I'm going to throw. I mean, he's dirt cheap. I get it. He's the cheapest on both sites. And he's probably better than he's been. And he's definitely should be better than he's been so far this season. So I get it. But I side with the offense. But it's like I look at all the pitchers, and there's really only 4 that I want, and the third, and the fourth, I don't really want that much. So it's like, it's Flaherty, we're looking at 3 guys with like 28 to 30% strikeout rates. And that's Flaherty, Joe Ryan, and Logan Webb. Webb obviously has had better strikeout success this season. He's also incredibly just good, efficient pitcher. So he can battle you with in ways if the Ks aren't working, but he's awesome. So those are like the 3 top ones. Then there's like Dustin May, who's like almost 25% on the season so far. And then it just drops off. Like Brady Singer, yeah, he's like probably underperformed. Used to be more of a strikeout guy. Probably fooling around with some things, but he's under 20%, and then it just keeps falling from there. And so it's 1, 2, or 3, or 4. So that's Flaherty, Ryan, Webb, or May is really all I want to use. And if I have to use Savali, I would. But I made a lineup that in higher stake stuff tonight that I'm pretty comfortable with that does not have him.
Yeah, I'm interested. You brought up May. I'm kind of looking at the ownership, and it looks like it's got a 1, 2 at the top here, Flaherty and Ryan, and then Webb. And then just a smattering of dudes with May included in that, like Anderson, Savali, Singer, all kind of in that range. Severino as well. You prefer May over that lot?
Yeah. So the problem with the reason why he's not getting a ton of ownership is because he's priced high. He should be like a little bit more discounted than he is compared to these other guys. So he's like right up there, especially on like FanDuel. But he's clearly the 4th best option. And if I can avoid it, that's why I think like the ownership is going to be kind of crazy, even though it's not projecting so far. But I think it's going to be Flaherty, Ryan are just going to be massively owned because every optimizer is just spitting them out. Mm-hmm. But they look like the clear top 2. But May's solid. He's got a higher strikeout rate this year than he's had in the past, close to 25%. But he's a really solid pitcher. The problem with him is it's the Mets. It's this is another big series with like the Yankees just came to town for LA, and now the Mets are in town. So this is it's not the best matchup. Yeah. But he could certainly pull it off tonight. We only have six games, 12 pitchers.
Yeah. Okay. And then real quick, shout out to Jerry in the chat who saw this one coming. FanDuel, you only get one. You're talking Flaherty or Ryan. FanDuel, you can only play Flaherty or Ryan. Is there a strong preference there, or whatever? Pick one. You don't care.
I think Flaherty personally, but they're only because he saves you a little money. But Joe Ryan, and they should go neck and neck. Joe Ryan's probably has a little bit more strikeout upside, but the matchup is just better with Flaherty gets the White Sox, so it's just that's like the best matchup on the slate here tonight. So, and he's cheaper, so it just kind of feels like he's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Want to make sure you guys are hitting that like button because you got the Spidey Bomb scrolling at the bottom. We got EDLC. Do people call him that? EDLC. Ellie De La Cruz plus 300. Couchman plus 750. You get a third Spidey Bomb and 150 likes. You got to hit the thumbs up to get to 150 likes. So make sure you're hitting that thumbs up for us so that you can get some Spidey Bombs. And I want to talk about some of the stacks and some of the bats. And Kirkwood, you can lead us there. I'm going to close this door real quick so my kids don't come in and, I don't know, poop on the floor or whatever it is they've been doing lately. I'll be right back.
All right. As far as stacks goes, for me, I mean, we're targeting the worst pitchers on the slate, so that's pretty easy. The Red Sox game is going to be popular for both sides. I do like the Red Sox. I also do like the Angels, but you got to keep in mind these are also two high strikeout offenses, so things could go wrong there, and everyone's expecting this game kind of to go off. The Dodgers are the clear best overall team with the highest upside, I would say, if they go off. But again, it's not the best matchup. We don't know what Paul Blackburn is yet this season. He's been pretty mediocre at best throughout his career so far, but this is his first start for this season here. So who knows how long he'll go either, but they're the best. Then there's, just look at ballparks, right? Like, so you got the Fenway game, which I just said, then, where's the next best? It's the Cincy and the Brewers both in Great American Ballpark. So both of those teams are top stacks here tonight as well. I side with the Reds, even though it gets a little tougher and there's a lot of lefties waiting in the bullpen behind Savali for the Brewers. That could make things annoying, but they do have a little more pop now with Tyler Stevenson back in the lineup. He's been homering lately. Obviously, we like Ellie De La Cruz. We like him better from the left side, but he's certainly a good bat too from as a right-hander. Benson has been hot. Steer starting to pick things up here, so that's good. And then the other stack I like, obviously, is Detroit against Jonathan Cannon and the White Sox. So I'm kind of sticking right in for those games.
Okay. I'm glad you brought up Detroit. Erik, start there because looking at our projections, we've got them as the highest owned stack, which to me is a little surprising. And yet they are the most optimal stack as well, according to our optimizer. You on board with that?
Yes and no. I think the difficult part is, even though the ownership seems fine relative to what we're projecting, like from an optimal percentage, if I'm playing also like these chalky pitchers and then punting down to the chalky stack, it's like, do we really want to play 2v2s, in
You're
these
just
tournaments?
doing what everybody's doing. Yeah.
They look good. They project well. The prices are good on all these guys. Colt Keith is going to pop up multiple times when we come across here because he's multi-position eligible and super duper cheap. And in this spot, they're on the road, right? There's a lot of great reasons to like the Tigers. It's just am I going to play the 16% owned stack with two? I agree with Kirk, especially depending upon what tournament you're playing in, like 60+% on both of those top two pitchers on DraftKings.
Yeah.
And then on FanDuel, it's just like, nobody else is even going to be owned at pitcher. So it's just really hard to get to those guys. So I'm working my way down the list. While I like Savali, as just a total punt, get me 15-point option, click and pray on DraftKings. I do think the Reds are good, but that bullpen thing is something I maybe overly fixate on sometimes, full transparency. But the Reds are also one of those teams similar to the Rays, right? Similar to the Dodgers. It's maybe not as much Dodgers right now, but historically the Dodgers, who, if the lefty comes in out of the pen, we're platooning guys, right? I love Will Benson. I'm a Will Benson slappy to my core. I've been playing this dude for multiple years. He's kind of more still like a quad A hitter, really, really good AAA, can just get hot at the major league level, but he hits for power. He's hitting the out of the ball right now in a small sample in the majors, and he can steal bases. So they do have a lot of those upside bats, but we're also talking about Gavin Lux. Spencer Steer has been absolutely atrocious this year with I believe the shoulder or whatever he came into the year with the issue. It's just tricky for that. So the Angels really pop to me, especially when we look at this ownership. We do show them as being under owned. Trout is back. Taylor Ward kind of figured something out while Trout was out, and then you have the Netos. Ohapi is a high upside catcher option. There's cheap guys. Jorge Soler maybe forgot how to hit, but he's super cheap, and I would love to find out if he can still hit at this price on DraftKings. So there are just some other options, right? Red Sox, Brewers, etc., that are steering me a little bit away from, say, the Tigers or the chalky bats.
Okay, very good. Well said. Let's go around the horn, talk position by position. And Erik, you get to lead us off with some catcher talk. Seattle not on the slate. And that remove. I don't know what to do now. Usually I know exactly what to do.
Big dumper. I mean, he's been going off too.
He's so good. Okay, without him, we need to figure something else out. We got to get creative.
If you're not playing the Dingler is, of course, just a phenomenal name, Dylan Dingler.
It's so good. Dylan Dingler. Like, were his parents, did they realize how funny that was when they did that? I don't know.
There can't be a PC way to say this, but there's only one type of person that would name their child that, and it's, life must have been rough for a few years before you gave birth and named your kid Dylan Dingler. But nonetheless, he does like, the price is good. He's in that stack. He can hit. He's a quality hitter, right? That's why this is all. Yeah, definitely.
That's good, Gene. I like that. Yeah, if I had a boy, I'd name him Dylan Dingler. But
I love the name personally. Yeah, my kid is Dylan. People used to call me Kirk Digler. I mean, I get that a lot. I just thought
I don't think that's true, but that's fine.
A lot of the ladies. Used to call me
I
that.
bet. Yes.
Oh God!
All right, so Dingler,
and the problem with him and really the chalky catchers on the slate is it's actually a good position. There's a bunch of catcher options. There's not so many options at some of these other positions. So I'm kind of moving my way down the ownership board here. I mentioned the Angels as being kind of one of my favorite stacks. Logan Ohapi is just as good, if not better, than Dingler, and just as good, if not better, of a matchup. Kirk mentioned Tyler Stevenson. If you're playing the Reds, just has a bunch of power. And then, Carlos Narvaez is projecting well over owned. But if you're playing the Red Sox, part of the perk of playing the Red Sox is a $3,500 catcher who's hitting cleanup, in that lineup. So I like him. And then Dalton Rushing, the Dodgers, I don't really know what we're going to get out of Paul Blackburn. I actually think historically he's been a guy who the field has kind of stacked against probably too much. But this is his first start. He was okay in AAA and not that great he built up for a long time into this start. So he's not just no build up or anything like that. But it is the Dodgers, and Dalton Rushing is one of the best, certainly catching prospects in all of baseball. So I really, really like him if I'm saving down there and not playing. If I'm playing the Dodgers, of course, but even if I'm just trying to save a little bit, maybe over some of these other guys, I do like Rushing quite a bit.
Okay, good stuff. Kirkwood, your thoughts?
We're talking about catcher here.
We are.
Yeah, if you're not doing Dylan Dingler against Dick Fitz tonight in Boston, then you're doing it wrong.
What are you doing?
Right, yeah, you can never play this guy again. So he's up there for me. I love Narvaez. It's like whoever the Red Sox have put into the four batter position, they just kill them. They just destroy them. And hopefully that doesn't happen to Narvaez, but he's cheap. He's been hitting pretty well, and gets this game could absolutely go off from both sides. So I like that. Contreras is the top overall play in Great American Ballpark. Tyler Stevenson has pop. The catcher's pretty stacked here for a 6-game slate. Ohapi in Fenway seems pretty good. And then Bangaliers against Joe Ryan for a little leverage if you want to do it that way.
Yeah, not having the best catcher, you're right. There are a lot of very legitimate hitting options there. Let's go to first base. Before we do, I'm noting at the bottom, I'm seeing a scroll. Devers, the third Spidey Bomb, plus 425. You get 2 more Spidey Bombs at 200 likes. That seems easy. We've got, I don't know, what is it, a couple 100,000 people watching, I think. So 200 likes should be easy. Make sure you hit that thumbs up for us so we can get more Spidey Bombs. Kirkwood, your thoughts at first base?
First base, Shohei is obviously the best play, probably the top option on the slate if you can get him. He's 6,500, so it's getting tough. And
preferred at first over outfield?
You know what? It really doesn't matter to me where we can get him. But first, certainly there's a lot of separation. There aren't a ton besides. We got a couple of big bad options like Pete Alonso, Freddie Freeman. But we also have a lot of punt options here that people are going to gravitate towards with Romy Gonzalez, Spencer Tier, Steer, who has been bad, but has shown some signs of life. So he's starting to get a little healthier. So we'll see if he can do something, but he has been absolutely brutal so far. And then Chanel, I always forget how to pronounce this guy's name.
I don't know how to say it either.
I watch him all the time. I just never I never listen closely enough to pronunciation. But anyway, he's got power upside in Fenway. There's like Abraham Toro I actually prefer him over Romy Gonzalez, and ownership doesn't prefer him. He's saves you 700. So I like Toro over Romy Gonzalez here, but I mean, if I list everyone, it's going to be Beimfohr is going to have nobody left to say.
Yeah. Okay. Erik, anything you want to add there at first?
Yeah, I do. I generally prefer Ohtani in the outfield. I like to play Freddie. So when people play Dodger stacks, they will play Ohtani even if they play Ohtani in the outfield, you won't get a lot of Freddie. Like Freddie is just like the afterthought in Dodger stacks, which is hilarious because he's absolutely incredible. But tonight, if I'm paying up for pitcher, there's a bunch of outfielders that I like at cheaper prices. You could, I X'd out Colt Keith, so that full transparency. That's why he's like always going to pop as one of the best value options, but I'm not playing him, so it does become a little bit more difficult. I could not agree more with Toro over Romy Gonzalez. Like Romy Gonzalez is not some like Babe Ruthian level hitter by any stretch of the imagination. So the same guy, essentially the same player at first base for what is he, 700 cheaper on DraftKings and 3% owned, 5% owned versus a little bit more popular Gonzalez. I prefer the Toro thing. Who was it that Jared Young, you see all the way at the bottom of your screen. I'm still not sure that this guy's like actually any good, but he went over to the KBO and just crushed in the KBO and has come here to the Mets, and like he's not awesome, but he hasn't been bad either, and he does have some power. And so at 2,500, like if you want to do Ohtani in the outfield and use this as a saver, I don't think he's absolutely terrible as a punt. Again, 2,500 platoon advantage, and he's a competent hitter. I think we'll see, but I think he's shown to be at least competent.
Okay, very good. If you were to order the Toro at a sushi restaurant, what would you be ordering? This is like a class check for you gentlemen.
Fatty tuna.
Oh, KirkDiese, Kirk Diggler on it. Did you know that, Beimfohr?
I did not know that.
Oh yeah, the Toro.
It's amazing. It's like a fatty tuna. It's awesome. Yeah.
There you go. All right, on it. Just checking where you guys are at.
You should have told me this on Friday. I do very much like sushi. Never get it because the wife doesn't eat sushi. So I've been glassed out of the sushi world. So I'm lagging behind, and now I'm jealous.
Damn. All right, next time she goes out of town, I'll help you out. Yeah, the Toro. Yes. It's Ooh, that's the good stuff. Okay, second base, Beimfohr. What do you like?
Yeah. As much fun as we had talking about catcher and even first base to a certain degree, second base is like the least fun thing to ever talk about on any one of these slates. Honestly, like this is why Colt Keith is very popular. This is why people are playing Gleyber Torres. Like Brooks Lee has not been good, but he's super cheap and was a good prospect, right? I am just ultimately kind of saving at this position. I think I like Christian Campbell a little more than the field does, though. In those Red Sox stacks, he's been struggling, but he was a big time prospect, got the platoon advantage. And I like to let's buy the dip a little bit on that guy. And I mean, if I'm going to pay 3,000 for Colt Keith, I can pay 3,500 for Christian Campbell, especially in Red Sox stacks. But this is absolutely disgusting. Like this whole position. So kind of whatever works, I'm saving here and jamming in whatever fits, maybe a guy in my stack.
Yeah. Okay. And that is typically how it goes. Kirkwood, you feel the same way? Just like play the dude in your stack?
Yeah, it's disgusting. I've been toying with playing Scott Kingery, who is awful on the Angels, batting ninth. Now, he was a big prospect for Philly, and he just never amounted to much, and now he's back out of nowhere. But he's down at the bottom at 2,300. And my only thought there is it's like everybody sucks here. So, let's just try to save some money and bump up some other spots here. But from Gleyber Torres, so everyone's going to play Colt Keith. But if they're playing him at second, they're not playing Gleyber Torres, which makes me kind of like Gleyber Torres a little bit more than normal. He's 4,500. Brooks Lee is second base or shortstop eligible on DK here. I'm trying to see if there's any Campbell has been so bad. He has just, man, I talked him up so much too in the beginning of the season, and he came out so hot. But man, he has fallen off. But and he's down to batting 9 holes, so that's pretty tough there. But Tommy Edman, the guy just rakes. But I prefer him against a lefty where he smashes. But for 4K, he definitely has home run upside, which is more you can say for a lot of these other guys.
Yeah. Isn't it hilarious that Tommy Edman is the home run upside second baseman? Like, what is happening?
He's always been good against lefties, but not. He's I know, it's amazing. How many does he have?
9. Yeah, 9 home runs already. Her career high in it. He played 153 games in 2022 and hit 13 home runs with the Cardinals. He has 9 already for the this Dodgers voodoo shit is just absolutely out of control.
They get the good stuff. They get the good stuff over there. Third base, Devers, love him. He's even in the lefty, low strikeout pitcher. Seems pretty good. Tyler Anderson is not a bad. Everyone says how bad this guy is, but he has one of the best changeups in all of baseball. That's just a side note. He's I used
to play him in Coors Field sometimes in DFS because he would be so cheap, and I was like, he's really not that bad, and everybody thinks he's horrible.
How did that go for you?
Sometimes great. I played Tyler Anderson in Coors Field in a live final and finished quite highly, actually.
Hey, good job.
There it is.
It wasn't because of him, but we don't worry about
Doesn't
the
matter. If he's in the lineup, that's all that matters. Max Muncy, 3,800. He's heating up here with some home runs this weekend. He had a couple of he had a multi-homer game, and he's got a bunch of homers lately. All of a sudden, starting to figure things out. Takes him a little while every season. 3,800 is cheap. Solid play. Matt Chapman. So I'm just home run hunting here is all I'm doing. If you need a punt, I guess you could play Rengifo for the Angels at 2,600. Javier Baez has been raking this season, doesn't get played in the 9-hole. No one wants to do it, but he is on the road where they're expected to score some runs here, so he could bat around several times. So I like that, and that's about it.
Okay, very good. You get to take me to third base.
I just did, I think.
Damn it. I was like, where am I? Is it Eric's turn at third then?
Yes.
Roth just pulled a George Springer. We were at third already, but he was hopping up off the base and got tagged out there.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was hilarious. I saw people, I'm sorry to turn it away from the baseball, but I saw people being like, that shouldn't be an out. That's against the whole point of baseball. And it's like, was he or was he not on the base?
I hate that.
What are we talking about?
Yeah, but I kind of agree. I kind of agree with that, actually.
No, I loathe when people are like, well, or someone gets tagged out and they're like, well, he had the throw beat. I'm like, I don't care if he had the throw beat. He was
people
tagged
like,
out.
that's not like the intention of baseball, right? That's not like what baseball's supposed to be.
Were you touching the base or not? It's not like in basketball.
Why is he jumping up and down?
He
Don't fucking
to step out of bounds.
Pardon my French. Yeah.
But he was but honestly, he hurt his ankle, and he was kind of testing his ankle out and hopping on the base.
I didn't see that.
He didn't know that the guy had the ball right next to him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyways, I hate when people are like, that's not the intention. Who cares? That's what happened. Beimfohr, third base.
Yeah, it's terrible. I agree with basically everything that Kirk says. This position is also so bad, and because I don't want to play a chalky look, Muncy, the price I think is he actually pops to me the most out of Devers is the best play, but when you start to put together lineups, it's a little bit I just prioritize Ohtani. I play one lineup usually, and I just take my double-digit points and double home run and stolen base upside from Ohtani. So some guys got to get cut at the top end. Muncy is difficult to get away from because he's 3,800. He's finally remembered how to hit this year. And like Kirk said, he's on an absolute heater. I was hoping for Yohan Moncada to be in the lineup, which is how bad. We're down real bad when we're hoping to be able to play Moncada.
It's not great.
Yeah,
he's
just
back. I don't know.
He's good.
He was a huge prospect. He
loved
started
him as a
out really
prospect.
hot, and he just became the worst hitter of all imaginable. But
Just crazy.
I'm rooting for him.
Me too. He was an awesome prospect. I think the White Sox stink. Like what it's done to Luis Robert, I think it did that to Moncada.
My God, it's sad seeing him fall so down.
Everybody. Who's the other one? The other outfielder, Eloy. Eloy forgot how to hit. Moncada forgot. All these guys forgot how to hit. Sorry, Roth. Matt Chapman deserves a mention just because he's very, very good, and the matchup is fine. And I know it's not a great park, but he's at least on the right side of the. I don't want the lefties that got to hit it 500 feet to hit a home run, but the righties are fine in San Fran.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. We get to go to shortstop.
A lot more fun at short, like a significant amount more fun. You can play like a lot of different shortstops. So my favorite, because the Angels are kind of my pet team today. Zach Neto is my favorite guy. Also, $5,500. Zach Neto is certainly a double take moment, but he's been awesome, and he just has a ton of fantasy upside. He hits for power. He steals bases. I think he has either 8 or 9 steals despite missing a bunch of time. So he's kind of my favorite, like, pay up to be contrarian or whatever stupid cliche we love to use in DFS land. Ellie is my favorite player in baseball. So I'm never, ever going to say, like last year, DK sends out here's your year in recap. And like Ellie De La Cruz is like my highest owned player, like by just 1,000,000%, because he's just so awesome for fantasy and in that park. But Lindor is great. Trevor Story is still like competent, at least against left-handed pitching. I'm not sure that he's any good anymore, but in that park against a lefty aiming at the big monster, the green monster, I'm totally down for that too. We mentioned a couple A's, at least Kirk mentioned a couple A's. Jacob Wilson is like really, really good and not in a great spot, but if you want to, like, you're not playing Joe Ryan, you can toss a couple A's in here or there. So he just deserves a shout for being quite good at baseball.
Okay. Kirkwood, how mad did it make you when he called the green monster the big monster? On a scale of 1 to 10 as a Bostonian, how did that make you feel inside?
I'm not one of those Bostonians. So.
You're the weirdest, nicest Bostonian. On the outside, you're just one of them, but on the inside, you're a little different, man.
Thanks, appreciate. I'll take that.
Yeah.
It's so I like a lot here. De La Cruz is the best play if you can get him. I think Lindor is a good play. So there's the 2 big upside guys. Then there's Correa has upside for cheap at 3,700. Has not hit right-handed pitching well so far this season, but he's a guy that he's starting to come on a little bit here. So I'm totally fine playing him. I'm also totally fine with my man Trevor Story, as bad as he's been. And when I tagged him on in tags today, and the I think I wrote up just like he's had like the worst season ever. Like, can't make contact, strikeouts every time, but like even coming in against left-handed pitching, he still has a 360 WOBA, 200 in ISO. It's not a ton of at bats, but he's still hitting left-handed pitching. So he's Juggalo Bomb #1 tonight. Ooh. Trevor Story batting 7th against Tyler Anderson. And he had a big series against the Braves. So maybe it's a breakout here. Yeah.
Dumb. It's so ridiculous. Like the more
can you put the one with Dave, me and Dave?
That's we get fun.
What a night that was. It's so fun. Yeah.
DJ was ready for that. Yeah. He's like, "Yep, I'm glad you asked. I was ready to go."
The thing about Dave and the Juggalos are so welcoming to everyone, and Dave is so welcoming. It was a perfect fit.
It makes sense.
Perfect.
Really. Look at that. Chief is a member of Juggalo Nation.
Chief, get in here. I don't even remember. I was so blasted that I don't even remember.
Jugged out.
That. I don't even remember it.
Wow, that was good times. I didn't know the Juggalo Nation was welcoming to Chief. That's great. Let's go to now we're just popping things up. What do we got
in the hits
at outfield? What are we doing in the outfield, Kirkwood?
Oh, sorry. I can't even see whose face it was because it says live over.
I'm glad. Yeah,
that was you, bro. Okay, outfield. You got tons of options. Outfield, Shohei is #1. Kerry Carpenter, cheap for home run upside. Parker Meadows is now in the lineup, who's got speed and power for Detroit, 3,700 cheap. You got Yelich, you got Buxton, you got Green, you've got no shortage of guys. And Mike Trout, 4,900 batting in Fenway.
Yes.
Against Mr. Fitz here tonight, and some more bullpen arms. I think Dobbins and whoever else they're going to throw, but it doesn't really matter. But 4,900 Trout in Fenway. Yeah, let's go. And Soler is the cheapie.
Yeah. Trout is my weather bomb of the day. I think he's hitting a missile tonight, a little Trout missile. Beimfohr, what do you got in the outfield?
Glad we're all on the same page. Trout was my in the expert survey, whatever, favorite tournament option, favorite hitter, all that different stuff. Like it's actually kind of insane how his price continues to come down. I know he was hurt, but his price has come down so much from what we expect of Mike Trout. And I think the results, people think like, oh, is Trout starting to fall off? And no, sir. No, he is not. He is hitting the absolute, out of the ball this year. It's just been crazy unlucky. Like if you go look at all the StatCast data, right? He's still Mike Trout. He's awesome. And he's been great since he came back. He's DHing. So, he's nice and fresh for all of these at-bats. He's my favorite tournament play in the outfield, probably by quite a stretch. I mean, he barely shows up on the first page here of all of the outfielders against Dick Fitz in Fenway at 4,900. Like, I mean, come on. I very much like Jorge Soler, but he's not, even though he's much cheaper, he's not Mike Trout. He's not one of the best baseball players of all time. Also, shout out Taylor Ward, who, like I said, got off to a rough start, started to figure things out while Trout is out. The Angels have a bunch of power outside of Zach Neto. They really don't steal bases, but there's a lot of power. And I believe they're 5th in baseball in ISO so far this year. Maybe that's against right-handed pitching. I forget what the stat is, but I do, even though I mentioned Savali and not loving the Reds so much, I'm willing to roll the dice on some of the Reds out here. Like I said, Will Benson has been awesome, and he can always hit it. Like he could get subbed out and still score 20-something fantasy points by the time he gets subbed out because he hits for power and he steals bases. I think we mentioned Yelich, and then mentioned the other. Kirk mentioned the other Tigers guys. I know you said Riley Green. Riley Green has been unreal this year, like against right-handed pitching. This dude is crushing baseballs. His numbers are actually very comparable to Mike Trout's this year. If you kind of look at the StatCast data, they're actually almost the same against right-handed pitching. And I think Riley Green just still doesn't warrant, like, we all love Kerry Carpenter, Kerry baseball. Like Riley Green just doesn't have that cachet that some of these other guys.
So this is what I do every time Kerry Carpenter is chalk. I just try to find the extra 500, 600, 700, whatever it is, usually to get to Riley Green, and he
always hits a home run every time.
It's like a cheat code.
Okay. Very good, guys. We are 90 seconds from lock or so. Let's give some home run calls real quick. Beimfohr, you mentioned Trout. That's my favorite, but I'm going to let you have it. You got one or two more names you could throw real quick?
Yeah, Trout. Riley Green, Ohtani is the total cheating, BS answer. But I'm going to the Christian Campbell well tonight. I still believe it's been horrible the last stretch. I'm playing 1 season-long fantasy baseball league still. It's this insane dynasty league with minor leagues and contracts and all this kind of stuff that started when I was in high school. And I have had Christian Campbell in the minors for quite a while, waiting for this moment. So it has been
time to shine.
But he's breaking out. He's breaking back out, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, he broke out, then he died. Now he's breaking. Yeah, all right. Kirkwood, your thoughts here? You got a name for me? Another jug bomb?
I do. I guess.
Can Erik say his home run picks one more time, just so I have a graphic ready now?
Trout, Riley Green, and Christian Campbell.
Yeah,
it's
such a good
graphic.
picture.
That's
I'm
just
kind of jealous.
Yes. That's my for anybody that's in the fantasy football world. That's my Adam Levitan. I was much younger than I am right now when I took that picture, and I'm never taking it.
It's
60
amazing.
years old, and that's going to
that ride.
Kirkwood.
Not actually a graphic, but that was the best I could do on a short period.
There's way worse pictures of me on the internet. I'll tell you that right now. So I'm happy.
Kirkwood, I want to hear you.
Max Muncy.
There we go. All right.
And Trevor Story. Those are my two.
Yeah. Ruthless Villain says this show is getting old. Yeah, we got kids and shit. Yeah, I mean, DFS is getting old. If we're being honest, we're aging.
DFS ages. We age a lot quicker than the population. The amount of takeout that I eat is sickening. My doctor is going to have a.
I would make fun of you, but I'm on the same train lately. I've been about that life, man. All right.
You just need ease. Eat whatever's easiest.
Yeah. Hey, guess what? We did the things. We did get some questions. I hope that these still apply. I'm gonna take them real quick before we bounce. Maybe we hit lock, and if so, that's on me. If I'm being honest. Cody says Yelich or Green. Beimfohr, Yelich or Green.
I like Riley Green better.
Okay. Kirkwood, Green and Kirk Diggler or Trout Narvaez.
Come on, is that even a question? It's Diggler all day, every day.
Yeah. All right, there you go. See if we got anything in the Discord real quick before we bounce out of here. Here we go. DK, single entry thoughts on trying to sneak a little Tyler Anderson through tonight. Anybody on board in a single entry?
I mean, sure.
Yeah.
I'm a Tyler Anderson slappy. I just don't really know how he's going to win you tournaments tonight. But, it's also locked, that game.
You know what? Can I do one more Juggalo Bomb?
Please.
I need to manifest this. I need Scott Kingery to hit a bomb tonight.
So there we go. Scott Kingery hitting a bomb.
This is not going to go well.
Yeah. Hey, you never know. All right. Let's clear on out. Dean's Dong. Dean's Dong. Can we just pop that up one more time? Dean's Dongs. It's just the mustache. It's just
insane, that mustache.
Is that his natural hair color? Does he dye his hair?
How Dean isn't on television shows?
I know.
Agreed.
He's so wonderful. All right.
Can we shout the Google images or whatever that somebody just used for that baseball? Put that baseball back up on the screen. This is like clip art in Microsoft Word. Like we're far more advanced than this flaming baseball.
Oh, come on. Now we're being nitpicky. And nobody's looking at the baseball. They're looking at Dean's glorious stash. All right. Hey, we're going to clear on out of here. Let's bounce. For Beimfohr, for Kirkwood, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Hey, guys, we appreciate you. We love you. We will catch you tomorrow. You have been crying.